Hey, Shalom family at this time. I had to do a very important video to YAHDAH and Ysraylyah. This is Ysraylyah, Caleb Ysraylyah at this time. As to come before you once again by the mighty power of Yah, brothers and sisters. Had something very important on my mind. I've been thinking about over the last few days about the Sabbath day. Because this is a very important moment, time that Abiyah set and established forever. Brothers and sisters, yes, Abiyah stopped the Sabbath, the feast days, and all of these things, brothers. He said he stopped our own feast days, the way we kept the Sabbath. He stopped it. He put us out of the land and all these type of things, brothers and sisters. And yes, in the laws, you can find that Abiyah require an offering to be made on the Sabbath. But everybody does not bring an offering on the Sabbath to Yah to take to the altar. A lot of people live too far away to go to the place. That's why the priests, they have storehouses. When people bring their tithes and their offerings to the people, my phone will ring at the time I'm doing this video. So, brothers, so let me continue. See, can I shut my phone down real quick? And so, I called the brother back. You did it once again, brother. I just say that because when you see the video, he'll know who I'm talking about. So, and so, family, I'm trying to shut my phone down. Give me a moment. Put it on vibration. So with that, brother, that's a very important thing. That's what I'm gonna go back and re-examine all these scriptures, because I know in the scriptures, brother and sister, the Father say His Sabbath is a sign between us and Him, that we would learn to reverence Him, to respect Yah. He given us His Sabbath, His very own Sabbath. He said this is sign. Another meaningful sign is mark. This is His token, His sign, His badge. Is like a badge of honor. He given it to us to signify, to show that we belong to Him and He belongs to us. Yes, brothers and sisters. And our ancestor broke the covenant, brothers and sisters. Yes. And Abiyah stopped at the feast. He stopped at the feast for one, because the way we did not keep it in His way. So He said, I did not like your feast. I did not like your Sabbaths. I don't want to make this whole video about the Sabbath, because this video is about restoration. But there's so much information. I'm going to go over this, brothers and sisters, and give you my results. At that, thoroughly study everything else. I kind of rushed to judgment about. I feel that, but I say I'm going to go back and restudy these things. I need to get 100% evidence, facts. And I'm looking at something in the Nimyah showing us that same similar situation. Brothers and sisters. And I want to go over that with you in a minute, because keep in mind, everyone, because this is a serious situation. We got to be 100% on point dealing with Abiyah Sabbath. Because I know at the time when the temple was dead and the altar was dead, it was required and you can find it in chapter 28, verse 10, verse 11, verse 9, verse 9 and 10. It required that the priest present an offering, yes, before Yah on every Sabbath. But Abiyah stopped at the priest and all of these things. All of these offerings, he said he did not want at that time. He cut it off for a period of time. To all of this got to be rededicated. The altar got to be rebuilt. That's why our people got to take things for serious. We got to go meet Abiyah, because all these things got to be reestablished. The priests, no, we don't have no priests at this time to do that function, because they got to be rededicated. We got no priest to present an offering on the Sabbath. But the key is, can we still keep the Sabbath without the priest? I got one example to show you right here in Nimyah. The feast was profaned by people bringing their things in it. Let's read it. I don't want to do too much explaining. Just explain it for itself. Nimyah, I'm seeking, I'll bring it up close to Nimyah chapter 13, verse 17 right here. It said, then I contended with the nobles of YAHDAH, and said unto them, what evil thing is this that you do and profane the Sabbath day. See, so right there, they show they profane the day. Let me go down to verse 19. Let me just go and read 18. Did not your father thus, and did not our Barah bring all of this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet you bring more wrath upon Ysraylyah by profaning the Sabbath. And it came to pass that when the gate of Jerusalem began to be darkened, the gates wasn't beginning to be. I see they faced it a little wrong. It did. When it began to be darkened, basically, I was saying before when it began to be darkened, they closed the gate of the city of Yashalom. So let's read it. It said, and the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath. You know the gate of Jerusalem didn't begin to be dark. The sky began to be dark before the Sabbath. Then it said, I commanded that the gates should be shut and charged that they should not be open till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants sat at the gate, that there should no burden, which is no work, be brought in on the Sabbath day. See, they was trying to sell something on the Sabbath day. They was going into Jerusalem selling on the Sabbath day, so they said shut the gate during Nehemiah time. Brother and sister, during the time of the first beast, Babylon. Yes, and so this was what's going on in that place. And they profaned the Sabbath. And right here, see, the heading of this part right here, it say, if you go back to 15, the restoration of the Sabbath. See, from the point of being profane. See, when you got something profane, it got to be restored. The Nehemiah, a man of Yah, tried to put himself to do these things, and through the commission of Yah, he did these things because he had the zeal and heart for Yah to restore the Sabbath, because they profaned it. So I said, okay, we're going to shut the gates before sundown so these people won't come in and try to sell on the Sabbath. So keep that in mind. And so at the same time, let's go down it right here. Verse 21 real quick. It said, then I testify again against them and said unto them, why lounge you about the walls? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath. Let's continue. He said, and I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates to the Kodesh Sabbath. See, to keep the Sabbath Kodesh, basically that's what they're saying. They said, remember me, O my Barah, who was creator, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of your mercy. You get that, brothers and sisters? So, brothers and sisters, we have something to really carefully examine. You know, we don't have the priests. That don't stop us on the Levites to do all. That don't stop us from keeping our laws. We got to look at that part too. The laws that we can keep. We can't keep all the feasts because certain feasts require for you to be in that land. That's the honest truth. You got it. There's no way out of it, brothers and sisters. We don't have the priests because the priest is not dedicated at this time, and the people got to know who are the priests. The priests got to. Our people are so messed up that some people of the Levites probably don't even know they are the Levites and going to be pointed as the priests of Yah. Some may do. Some, but a lot probably don't. So all of these things got to be worked out, but that's why it's so important for us to come back together. I'm not even into my message about the restoration, but yes, I am, because I rehearsed over you about how once they've been restored. But I want to go into you how we must be restored. Yeah, how I would just show you how a Sabbath was restored before, when it was getting out of order, before the priests got rededicated, got cleansed up, so they could go back and keep their functions. Others was keeping the Sabbath, because remember, I had them lock the gate. We're not going to let them profane the Sabbath, because that's a serious situation, because the Sabbath is a sign that we belongs to Yah. I can't tell nobody not to keep the Sabbath no more. I'm not going to do it, because I'm not going to be in the earth of Yah. I know the scripture tell you, right, I stopped our Sabbath the way we was keeping it. We got to keep this in mind, brothers and sisters. He stopped the way we was keeping it. No, the priests at this time, the Levites, can't keep the Sabbath. They can't keep the Sabbath far as presenting an offering to Yah. Not until we go back home and rebuild the altar and the temple, and all that get rededicated before Yah. Then the full function of the priest gonna go back into action. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying, like I just showed you what did. People was keeping the Sabbath, but the priests wasn't doing their function. But and then y'all told the priests to cleanse themselves, and that they should come and keep the gates. See, and recite these things over them, so they could keep enter into their functions, into their work, into their office. See, the priest got to be reinstated into the office. The priest had not been reinstated yet. But that don't stop the people from keeping the laws of Yah. That's what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. We got to look at it like that too. So we got to be careful how we walk before Yah, brothers and sisters. I got to bring this out right now. I wanted to get into the other message to show you about the other thing, about how we're going to be restored back to Yah. Hopefully I got enough time, because I'm going to bring this Sabbath thing in fullness to show you the other scriptures to go along with this, to show you the very significance of this. And just got to come from each and every one knowledge and heart about this Sabbath. Is that important? Because that's one great sign of Yah gave to it. He said this is a sign, it's a mark of Yah, a sign of Yah. And certain things we can keep, even though we don't have the priests reinstated into the office to present an offering before Yah. Yah even said he didn't even want an offering at this time until the point of time. Yes, when the temple be rebuilt, all this will be rededicated, we're going to do offerings. That's what I'm saying right there. But with that offering, I gave you one example how people still kept the Sabbath before the priest got reinstated. We got to use wisdom and knowledge on all these things, brothers and sisters. Is that important? I say this forever. That's all I'm going to say on that, brothers and sisters. I got to line up with you. I don't care what nobody else feel and think about this. But I got to go on the words of Yah. I mean, I can say I don't care. I don't want to be like that, like Eric, because I love my family, and I know we all need to be on one accord. And we're going to get on one accord, even now or when we get home. We're going to get on one accord. So with that, let me continue to this message right here. We're talking about restoration. I covered a little bit on the Sabbath. I just basically touched this about the Sabbath. I ain't get into the deep heart of it. Then I had to make this whole video concerning the Sabbath. I want to show you some other things right now. The only reason why I can't show you the whole full thing about the Sabbath, I didn't take all of my notes yet. So I'm going to leave off on that. And I'm going to go to right now to the book of Jeremiah. I'm just going to use the English name they put on there, the fake falsified name, for now. So Jeremiah chapter 17, let me get there, verse 20, at this time. There's a very important video, brothers and sisters, to share with you about us going home to be restored back to Yah. Soon as our brothers have the knowledge and be ready to go, we can start this ball to rolling. So right here is Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 20. It says, and I say unto them, hear ye the words of Yah, you kings of YAHDAH, and all YAHDAH, and all the inhabitants of Yashalom, that enter into my gates, into the gates. Thus saith Yah, take heed to yourselves, and bear no burden on the Sabbath day. I had to put this in. I want to show you something about the Sabbath day. So I guess I'm still talking about the seventh day for a minute. That is because it's very important. Verse 21. Thus saith Yah, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath, no work on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Yah Shalom. Same thing repeating what Nimyah was saying. It said, neither carry forth a burden out of your house on the Sabbath day. Showing that even on the seventh day, they didn't carry no work, no burden. They didn't carry no offerings down to Yashalom because so many people were so far away from Yashalom to get there. So everybody didn't require to bring an offering. They already had the offerings that they needed in the storehouses on the seventh. The Levites took care of this on the Sabbath. That was their function. It wasn't everybody function on the Sabbath to fulfill. Let me get the Numbers, make sure I want to be on point. Numbers 28. Let me get that. Number 28, verse 9. Let me make sure. Verse 28. I'm in the wrong book. Numbers 28. Numbers 28. Let me go there. I'm pretty sure it is, but I want to be on point. I don't want to give you the wrong scripture because it's too important. Number 28, verse 9. It says, on the Sabbath day, 2 lambs of the first year without spot, and 2/10 deals of flour for the meat offering, mingled with oil and drink offerings thereof. This is a burnt off on every Sabbath, beside the continued burnt offering and his drink offerings. That's the 7-day requirement for the offering. You bring 2 lambs of first year without spot, without defects, and 2/10 deals of flour for a meal offering, and a mingle with oil and a drink offering. And this is the burnt offering on every Sabbath. See, on every Sabbath required that the priest must present these things before Yah for the whole congregation on the Sabbath. But I'll show you one instant when the priest wasn't doing these things. The people of Yah is still required to keep the Sabbath of Yah. Wait till the priests get reestablished. It shows that before they got cleaned up, it went back into effect back then. But when Yah said he did not like our Sabbaths. So that's why I tell you, each person need to examine himself. Is you profaning the Sabbath now? I've seen people profane the Sabbath. I profane the Sabbath by doing things on the so these things we got to be careful about. Profaning the Sabbath. Can we keep the Sabbath now? Can we keep the Sabbath now without profaning the Sabbath? Strictly. Because only thing we all got to be glad, brother, we are on the mercy of Yah at this time. Because the requirement for breaking the Sabbath is death. A person can lose their life for breaking the Sabbath. Profaning the Sabbath. So we glad it went for the mercy of Yah, and Yah didn't turn away from us, he would have to kill us all. Think about that. That's why he said 2/3 of the people going to die, of the Hebrew people, for their ancestors' sins. These are the facts. And our sins we do today. So this is one touch. That's why I say this situation is so touchy. Should you go in to start returning back, keeping it? But if you're keeping it halfway and playing around with it, you'd be better all the way for the covenant to be renewed. I'm not telling nobody what to do, but I'm telling you, this is something so serious. I'm wrestling with now, but I gotta get all the knowledge on this. It's so serious, brothers and sisters. So let me read it. 21. 21. And thus saith Yah, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in the gates of Yah Shalom. And you can tell the way I'm talking to you, the way I feel about it. It's a serious situation. Neither carry forth a burden out 22 out of your house on the Sabbath day. Neither do you any work. But hallow you the Sabbath day with the set apart set apart you the 7th day as I command your fathers. But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ears, but their neck stiff. He said, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instructions. And it shall come to pass, if you diligently hearken unto me, saith Yah, to bring in no burden through the gates of this city on the 7th day, but set apart the 7th day and do no work therein, then you shall there, excuse me, I'm reading too fast, then shall there enter, slow down. It's at 25, then shall there enter into the gates of the city of kings. See, he said, if we obey him, he said, then shall enter to the gates. They enter there into the gates of this city, kings and prince sitting upon the throne of David. See, that's why we don't have no kings, no king that sit on in the throne now, in the land now, because our ancestors broke that covenant. And y'all stop these things, the feast, the Sabbath, and all of these things, until a point of time. Let me see, it's a riding in chariots and in the horses, and they and their prince, and men of YAHDAH, and the inhabitants of Ysraylyah, and this city shall remain forever. See? Continuously. Number 26, and then they shall come from the cities of YAHDAH, and from the place about Ysraylyah, and from the land of Benjamin, and from the plain, and from the mountain, and from the south, bringing burnt offerings, and offerings, and meat offerings, and incense, and bringing offerings of praise unto the house of Yah. He said, but if you will not hearken unto me, to Kodesh the Sabbath, and not to bear a burden, and not to work, even entering in at the gates of Ysraylyah on the 7th day. He said, then I will kill a fire in the gates of the earth, and it shall devour the palace of Ysraylyah, and it shall not be quenched, put out. That's what occurred, brothers and sisters, to that place. That's why right now we don't have no offerings there. We don't have nothing there. The Hebrew people. You can't even keep the 7th day. The Hebrew people can't even keep the 7th, not till we go back. So that's why I bring this message, brothers and sisters, as I turn to the book of Hosea. I got yet a little bit more to go on this. I'm making this into the 7th. But we got to understand this knowledge, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to continue this off. Is that important? Because I told the family that I'm going to bring this video on restoration. It's very important that I do it this way and not deviate from this way. I got to keep talking about the Sabbath. Because this is the heart. This is one of the heart of Yah. And he look at us real carefully on this day. Because this one day we cease from work like Yah ceased from work. And the day he gave it unto us to praise him, to learn to reverence, to respect him. He even said it as a mark, a sign, the proof, evidence that we will obey him, submit to him, cease from all the things we're doing, the labor of our works, to obey him. But our ancestors failed Yah. And this grieved Yah, this hurt Yah. He had to turn from us. He didn't like the way our ancestors were doing anything, the priests and all, the people, the priests, and all. Let me get into this right here. Chapter 2, verse 10 of Hosea, the prophet. Hosea. They say Hosea, the prophet. 2 verse 10 reads, it said, and then I will discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers. See? I will reveal her sins. That's what he's saying. He's going to reveal the sins, the things that we did wrong in the sight of all her lovers. The nations, that's what he's talking about, that our people went after to follow in their ways. You see, to reveal the wrong we done to him. In the sight of all her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. You see that? That's another sign. Wait till I do my next video. You'll see about salvation. The name of the great name. No, we never had a savior, brother, since the time we got put out of that land. Since the Father gave the prophets the warnings, we never had a savior. I cut a slam off from every angle. So right here, he said, I will also cause all of her myrrh to cease, her feast days, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And y'all did all of these things for a long time, brother and sister, to cause these things to feast. Cause these things to cease, to stop. Let me go read again. Kevin, let this sing in everybody's head. He said, I also will cause her to cease, her feast days, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all of her solemn feasts. See, we wasn't keeping them in Yahweh way, brother and sister. All of them was profaned before the sight of Yah. Let me continue. He said, I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, whereof she has said, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me. He said, I will make them a forest of the beasts of the field shall eat them. He said, I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, wherein she burnt incense to them, and she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, saith Yah. See, our ancestors, when they did these things, brothers and sisters, in that land, they went serve the deities, the Elohim, the gods, whatever people want to call them, the idols, the images. That's what they serve. Call out to them and follow in the ways of the nations. The Abiyah told them not to do these things, but our people kept watching them, and then became like them. And so this is the judgment that came upon us, Fanny, from doing all of these things. But right after you see that, I got to read now to in 23, the rest of the chapter, because it shows you later the restoration, and how Abiyah can restore us these things. Remember, Abiyah said, and I will destroy her vineyards and her fig trees whereas. And then if I'm going to go over the restoration of Ysraylyah. Verse 14 reads, it said, therefore, behold, I will allure her. See, that means like allure, attract her, he's going to lure you because something we need. And now you begin to see this, family. The things we need, it's Yah. We saw how our people turn to this world, to the nation, to their love, and how we go down. Everybody out there open understand these things very clearly now, how they suffer. I know I'm suffering big time right now. I don't know if you know, y'all just don't know how bad I'm suffering right now. I can do these videos, but I'm fighting every day, brothers and sisters. To stay afloat in the United States. That's why I know I said we'll be better off without. See, people that got a lot of things don't got the same struggles. They might got other struggles. But I got a combination of struggles. I don't have the spiritual struggles. I don't have that kind of struggle. But when you have physically struggles, that's hard too. But I know it's a test for that. And I'll be allowing me to see some things and I got to see what I endure these things. He only knows my outcome. But I had the knowledge to know, I said, I'm going through something. But I don't want to make this all about me, but it's all about all of us. Because I hear the cries of the people on the internet, but a lot of our people don't know what to do. A lot of our people wrestling because they don't know the pure words of Yah. Because there's a lot of people saying a lot of things, brothers and sisters, out there. We all been, since we've been in the land, I see that, giving a lot of lies. So we now be trying to find all the knowledge of Yah. Or if you understood the fastest way to get this knowledge of Yah when we all assemble together. That's the will of Yah. That's how we're going to get the knowledge, so because we together. We got no outsiders influence on us talking. We're not on YouTube. We're not on Facebook and all the other social channels fighting. Yes, that played its part to get us to a certain point to add some of the things out. But now we got to grow up, people, family, nation. So right here in verse 14, read the restoration of Ysraylyah. It said, therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness. People, mock this in your mind. Feel this in your heart. Because everything got to enter to your eyes and to your mind. That's why we connect our mental faculty to our eyes. So when we see this, it goes into our mind, and then we take it to, and when we allow it to get to our emotions and begin to love this and allow it to react, we can act or move with force and power. Don't you know when we move together, that's force and power coming together of Yah? Think about this, bro. This whole movement of Leah is of Yah. That's why it's the Leah, the exaltation back home to Zion. Yes, by the hand of Yah. This is Yah. It's here. His words is here. His power to draw us back to Him. It's right here. So now, brothers and sisters, if you take time to meditate on this, that's why I'm slowing down right here on this part. I want you to meditate on this verse, because I know if we keep reading, I keep reading. You take a portion of it in, and then that kind of go in the back burners. Then the next word you'll hear, but concentrate on this wilderness. If you don't get nothing else from this video today, as the hearing of this video, get Yah say He gonna lure us into the wilderness. That means we got to physically go to a wilderness. Now, and explain this wilderness. The wilderness is not in all of the lands of your captivity. We individuals, we're going to be still separated. No, we got to come together. That's why the scriptures tell you in Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9, we got to get on ships. That means we got to come together, YAHDAH, get on ships to go back over there to Africa to meet up with our brothers, Ysraylyah, the northern nations, and meet Yah in the wilderness. He's going to lure us to the wilderness. He's doing it now to attract us to the wilderness. Let's get it right here. Restoration of Ysraylyah. He said, therefore, behold, I will lure her, talking about Ysraylyah, I will lure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak. See, the purpose of to bring her to the wilderness to speak with us comfortably unto her. See, now this is restoring us. See, the plea, the judgment. Let's keep reading it. And I will give her vineyards from thence. See, from there. See, He's going to tell us the word. He's going to give us all. He's restoring these things back to us. Remember, when you go in there and read at the 7th stop, and He said, I'm going to destroy her vines, no fig trees. Now, all this stuff going to be reinstated. He's going to speak to us. There. So it's a certain place where things are going to be reinstated. That's why I said it's urgent, brothers, and so important that you understand this, because we got to go get all of these things. This way we get our blessings. See, now I'm telling you the blessings as well. The reason restorations is the blessings of Yah. He giving it back to us right here. He said, I will give her vineyards from there. See, we can't get into the market, but we got to meet them in the wilderness from there. And the valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there, as in the days of her youth, and as in the days when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be at that day, saith Yah, that you shall call me Ishai, and shall call me no more they all lie. You get that, brothers and sisters? It said, for I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. He said, and in that day will I make a covenant. See that? The covenant is coming back again, the renewed covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of the heavens, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth. See, all the things gonna take place in time, and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth you unto me forever. And yes, I will betroth you unto me in righteousness and in judgment. See, in righteousness and in judgment and in loving kindness and in mercy. And I will even betroth you unto me in faithfulness, and you shall know Yah. See? And it shall come to pass in that day I will hear. See, I was telling somebody last night in the comment, and I heard somebody saying, God, and saying, he hears whatever name we call. I don't hear you everything you say. See, we think Allah hears everything we say. I had to learn that myself. I said, man, I thought it's just the mercy of Yah. He allowed things to go our way at certain times because we need certain things. Why do you think some people suffer and Allah don't do nothing about it? Something. So we think Allah hears sometimes. Sometimes He don't even hear us at all. One thing we can just hope He hears. We gotta do all things with knowledge. But it's right here, brothers and sisters. I gotta find my place once again, 21. And I shall come. Let me see, make sure I ain't lose my place. It said, and it shall come to pass in that day I will hear, saith Yah, and I will hear. Let me see, make sure in the